Hi, and welcome to the show. Well, today again, it's all things Scottish. And we'll be here talking about Robbie Burns and the Burns Supper. And here to talk about that, here in McMinnville, Tony Shouldis. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, have a kid.
So, the Burns Supper, what goes with that? A lot of people know about the Burns Supper. A lot of people don't.
There's a lot who do not.
So let's talk to those people, and the other people can just go, yeah.
Sounds
I know
great.
that.
So Burns Supper is a celebration of Robert Burns' birthday. Robert Burns, born on January 25th. And Burns Suppers we celebrated anywhere from middle of January to the middle of February all over the world.
Very good. How did you get into this whole thing? You were born in Scotland, right? And you
No. Part of the Celtic Heritage Alliance
Okay.
that puts on the McMinnville's Scottish Festival. We also do a number of other events here around town, and Burns Supper happens to be one of them. And I got involved through my throwing community and got involved with the Burns Suppers as well. So.
Okay, Celtic Heritage Alliance.
Yes.
Talk about that.
So the Celtic Heritage Alliance is the nonprofit that we run here in McMinnville that hosts a number of events throughout the year. One being the McMinnville's Scottish Festival that everybody's kind of aware of. The other one being the Burns Supper. This is our third annual Burns Supper. Last 2 years have been at the Barbary. This year we're going much bigger, indoors, warmer. It will be at the Falls Event Center Lodge, the old Evergreen Chapel.
Yes, the log cabin.
Yes, the log cabin.
Well, and that can hold how many?
We are shooting for 200 people this year.
Wonderful.
It'll be a great time.
All right. And again, January 18th.
January 18th.
What time?
Doors open at 5:30. We'll get started about 6.
Wear kilts if you have them.
Definitely. So this is one of those, you can come semi-casual, you can also come semi-formal or full-on formal. Most of us there will be in what we call a Prince Charlie, which is the vest and suit, or tuxedo-style jacket, bow tie, kind of a black tie event. Some of the women will be dressed up in formal gowns, others will be dressed up semi-formal, little black dress type thing.
So if you're coming and you don't have any of that in your closet, it's
Shirt-
fine.
shirt
You're
and-
coming
shirt-
and enjoy
shirt and tie, polo shirt,
Okay.
something semi nice. So
Yeah. All right. It sounds like a lot of fun. And now the menu.
the menu. So we're going to start the evening off with Scotch eggs for an appetizer. We will move on to kakaliki soup and salad.
What's that?
So kakaliki soup is basically leeks and chicken soup is what it is. And then from there,
Kaka, the cock, the chicken, leaky. Okay, got it.
So chicken and leeks. So
All right.
we'll then move on to our main course, which will be pork tenderloin, along with roasted vegetables and haggis. So we will have haggis, as always. Cannot have a Burns Supper without haggis. And we will finish off with a lovely spice cake, Scottish spice cake.
Now, do you have a vegetarian haggis too, I've heard?
We do have a vegetarian haggis, yes.
Okay, so there will be something for vegetarians?
Yes, so we'll have roast vegetables, we'll have the vegetable haggis, we'll have salad. So there will be definitely things for vegetarians as well.
Now let's go back to the real haggis.
Yes, the real
All right.
haggis.
That's made up of...
So haggis is primarily from lamb. It is a combination of, in Scotland at least, it is liver, heart, and lung, chopped up very, very fine, mixed with some steel-cut oats or oatmeal.
And enough spices to make it taste
A
good.
little bit of spices, some beef suet or beef fat to kind of help hold it together.
Okay.
You stuff all that into a sheep's stomach, tie it off, and then you boil it. And then when it comes out, it's kind of the texture of a meatloaf, to be honest. So.
All right, and I hear it's piped in.
So we will pipe in our haggis. We have a bagpiper coming down from Tacoma to play for us, and we will have a little parade through the room up to the front with both the haggis and the vegetable haggis, and then we will read a traditional Burns poem, Ode to the Haggis, and it's in celebration of the haggis. So we do it a little differently. You guys are going to have a good time with it. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we do a point counterpoint, which is really kind of interesting between the haggis and the vegetable haggis.
Well, what we're going to see there is all about some guy named Burns.
Yes.
So maybe we should talk about him for people
Sure.
that got through high school English, kind of remember that name, but haven't been back.
You're better than me. We didn't even cover Burns in my high school.
Okay.
So Robert Burns is the Scottish national bard or Scottish national poet. 1759 to 1796. And he was basically the poet for the common people. He wrote a lot of stuff based on nature, based on his love of women. He was quite the womanizer.
We can talk more about
We
that.
will talk more about that. And also, he stood up for the common man in some of his other works that he did as well. So
So I was doing some subtraction. That's 37 years.
Yes,
He died
yes.
at 37. What up?
illness, he bounced around a lot from home to home and stuff. And so over the years, multiple sicknesses kind of caught up to him eventually, and he passed away. All they say is he died of the sickness. They don't say what exactly it was. So.
All right. All right, let's go back to when he was young. Where was he? Was he born rich, born poor?
Born poor. He was born poor. So he was not a wealthy individual, and that's part of the reason why he wrote a lot of his stuff for the common man, because of that reason. So, and I want to say he was born in Ayrshire, if I remember correctly.
And his dad was a farmer,
Yes, Dad was a farmer.
and he grew up.
He grew up on the farm, and back then the farms were. He didn't own the farm, so he was working for somebody else, farming for somebody else, and because of that, he moved quite a bit because of it and bounced around, and it was a hard life.
And I read that his dad recognized a real talent in him. He was hungry for literature,
Yes,
and after he graduated from the local school, you know that his dad went, even as poor as they were, somehow he managed to scrape up the money to hire a tutor.
yes, that's correct.
And so by the time he was 15, he was an accomplished reader of literature,
Yes,
Scottish.
and published. I want to say by 17, if I remember correctly.
His first poem about
Yes,
a woman.
a woman.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Well, we've got a talent in the studio that we just discovered as we were warming up for
Yes.
this show. Caroline O'Brien is in the sound booth. She's the director of this show, and we're very grateful to her for all the volunteer work she does to make this show happen. But I was talking about this poem that Robert Burns wrote when he was out plowing. His plow hit a mouse nest and opened up this den, and it really upset him.
Yes.
He's a sensitive guy, and he goes inside upset, and he writes this poem,
Oh, do a mouse.
Ode to a Mouse. And I think in Scottish Gaelic, it's a moose.
Moose.
A
Yeah.
moose.
Yeah.
All right. So Caroline's going to read a few verses of this, and she's got this incredible Scottish, Gaelic Scottish accent. And Caroline, you ready with that?
Yes, sir. Here we go. We sleekit cowering timorous beastie, oh, what a panic's in thy breastie. The needna start away so hasty with bick and brattle. Away be late the rin and chased thee with murder and pattle. I'm truly sorry man's dominion hath broken nature's social union and justifies that ill opinion which makes thee startle at me, thy poor earth-born companion and feral mortal. But moosey thou and early lane, improving foresight may be vain. The best laid schemes of mice and men gang after ugly, and lay as naught but grief and pain for promised joy. Still thou art blessed compared with me, the present only toucheth thee. But a backward cast me on prospects drear, and forward though I canna see, I guess and fear.
Wow.
That was very nice.
Yeah, she's really something. Now, most of us can't understand that.
I know a little bit about that poem.
Yep.
Very little, but it is about his love of nature. Again, it's talking about the mouse, but there also is a few political jabs he throws in there about the oppressors of Scotland. So.
And he says to the mouse at the end, you know, really, you're only worried about the present. But I'm worried about these horrible memories in the past and what we have to look forward to and worry about.
Yes.
So yeah, it was a rough time. Scotland
It
was
was.
not an easy place to grow up on a farm
No.
and live, and what he saw there. All right, so let's talk more about his poetry. You said he he had three areas: nature, politics, and talk
Women.
about his politics.
He was the common man poet. He wrote for the common man. He wanted basically to speak for the masses, not just for the rich and the wealthy. A Man's a Man is a great example of that work, and I believe we'll be covering that one at the Burn Supper as well. We have a gentleman who I think wants to read that for us at the Burn Supper, so that'll be a fun one to listen to.
And I do recommend, like, before you go to a Shakespeare play, you do well to read it and maybe kind of catch the drift and know where the jokes are,
Yes.
so you know when to laugh.
Yes,
You might want to go ahead and read, what was the poem again?
A Man's a Man.
A Man's a Man. And there are, if you Google, you can get the modern English translation.
Yes.
You can kind of get more of the idea, and when you go to hear it, like the story about the mouse, you'll understand it.
And we may actually have that done up as in a song version as well at the Burn Supper. So we will have live music going besides just the pipers. We have Brother Angus coming back up to play for us, and he will be playing acoustic at the Burn Supper on Saturday night for us, and does a great job. He actually will be playing all traditional Burn songs throughout the night.
Now, I wonder if you could solve a mystery for me. Why is it the Boston Celtics and then everything else is Celtic? It's spelled the same.
I have no idea on that one. That one I do not know.
I think a lot of newcomers make that mistake.
And I think it has to do with the Celtics in the sense of the Irish. I'm thinking, I don't know.
The
personally.
Celts.
Yeah.
The Celts. But why did they? Yeah. Okay.
So, not my area. I don't do basketball. So,
So the supper is going to be. Tell me the time again.
so doors open at 5:30. We'll get started at 6. We'll start off with a short poem of Burns, and then we'll move on to appetizers and soup and salad, and then slowly start adding in more music and more poems as the night goes on. So there will be 5 poems that are read at every Burn Supper. One being Selkirk Grace. That'll be the grace that we open the night with. There will be Ode to the Haggis that we'll be doing. There will be a Toast to the Lasses. So that is actually a handwritten poem by one of our attendees, and it talks about the women in our life. Why not? Because it's Burns, right? We do also give the women a chance to get up and do a rebuttal to that, and it's the rebuttal, as we call that one. And then finally is the Immortal Memory, and that is a piece that's written basically by somebody, and it's what Burns means to them and how they feel Burns contributed to history.
All right. So this sounds like a very entertaining evening,
It will be, yes.
and you'll either be reminded of things that you really enjoy, or you'll be introduced to a whole nother world that
Yes.
you then can continue to enjoy.
That'll be great laughter. There's going to be great fellowship. So the Barberry is actually who's doing all our food for us this year. And our Scotch is going to be provided by Glenmorangie and Ardbeg. And so we'll have Scotch for sale. We'll have beer and wine, great food, great fellowship. Like I said, great music. It's going to be all in all a great evening. So
Let's talk Scotch for a bit.
Yes.
You're a bit of a connoisseur,
a little bit, yes.
and you forgot to bring it.
I did.
I'll have you
out-
back if you bring Scotch with you.
Out the door in a hurry. So.
All right. And I will have you back when we warm up for the McMinnville
Scottish Fest.
Scottish Festival in June.
Yes.
So we'll be back and we'll talk more about that.
Of
then.
course.
But now, back to Scotch. It's not made out of wheat in Scotland,
It's barley.
made out of barley.
Yes. It's made out of barley. It's roasted or dried, I guess germinated, how you want to call it, using a number of different methods. One being using peat fire to do that, and peat smoke to roll over the barley. That's kind of where I tend to lie, and that also tends to be the Isla scotches, the Ardbegs, as you would. So,
And this is it's aged for.
yes, aged for a minimum of 3 years and a day.
Otherwise, they can't call it.
Has to be made in Scotland, and otherwise you can't call it Scotch.
Okay.
So,
And then up to how long?
it can age as
What's the longest age you've had?
longest age I've had
Age.
would be a 21-year-old.
Okay, but it doesn't go much longer than that.
Oh, no, there's some that are 40, 50 years old. There are some that really do get aged if they're 40-plus-year-old Scotches, so,
Now, your position, Tony, you mentioned the Celtic Heritage Alliance.
yes.
This is a group of people. Tell us about that.
So we are a nonprofit based here in McMinnville. We are a working board, so there's 8 of us on the board, and we run the nonprofit to kind of put on all the events here in the McMinnville area, and we're looking at trying to help other people such as the dance troops and pipe bands and that kind of stuff eventually start adding more Celtic heritage back into our community. So
Put the Mac.
put the Mac back in McMinnville. So, and that does speak for what we're trying to do.
Bring dance troops here from other places or to grow our own?
Grow our own here locally and also bring in other ones from outside to hopefully get to a point of being able to do a dance competition amongst the Scottish dancers.
And bring a dance competition here?
Yes.
With people, teams coming from
All over.
wherever they want to come?
Yes.
All right, this sounds like a lot of fun. So somebody is thinking, that sounds like something I'd like to do, or I've already done, and I want to be able to have a place to do that. They contact
Celtic Heritage Alliance at
And-
gmail.com.
it's easy to find.
Yep.
And the board is open to people coming and volunteering and wanting to play.
We would love to have volunteers. We are looking for a few key committee people to run some committees for us as well and help drive that along. So if you are interested in volunteering or want to help out with running a committee, contact us. We'll get you an application and we get you figure out where you need to belong.
Now, from what I know, you're a fun-loving group.
Yes, we are.
You just got back from a retreat.
Yes, we had our annual board meeting where we kind of go over our bylaws and go over our planning session for 2020. So kind of do a recap from 2019 and a vision ahead for 2020.
Was there whiskey involved?
Of course not.
A very sober group.
No, there were a little bit of Scotch involved.
A little bit.
You got to have. You got
proper
to
amount.
open the meeting with Scotch and to cheers, and then at the end of the meeting, of course.
Well, I was introduced being on the field with the athletes, that between events, what you do is you pass a little flask around and you call it,
Stretching,
it's good to stretch.
Yes.
During
Yes.
an athletic event.
of course. You want to tighten up. So I think Caroline did pop up a banner on the bottom of the page also here about where to buy tickets for
Okay.
our burn supper. So if you go to Afton tickets, you can get tickets there. Or if you see this little lovely banner we have here and like that on Facebook, there's a link within there to go buy tickets as well.
Yeah.
So
All right. It sounds like it's going to be a great party.
it is definitely going to be a lot of fun. So
But let's go back to Burns.
yes.
The guy was a character. I mean, he was a genius. He was flawed. His appetites just ran away with him. His passion was
I would
unequaled.
I would kind of consider him a rock star of the era. If you think about some of our rock stars and what
They died young.
They
They
died
died-
young.
yeah.
Yeah, burn out fast, and he definitely fits that mentality, that lifestyle.
Interesting.
So,
interesting.
and like I said, he loved women. He had 12 children, I think we said, or 14 children.
12 children, 9 of them with his wife, and 4 of them with people he wasn't married to.
Yes. So
And he was so sensitive about that he wrote a poem about the agony of what it would be like for a woman to have a child out of wedlock.
right.
Wasn't that nice of him?
Very nice of him.
But when you read it, you see the genius.
Oh yes.
So what do you do with this guy?
Well, and like I said, he talked his way into more bedrooms by his poetry than anything else. People love to hear him talk, and love to hear his poems.
And there was, if you go online, there's so much about Robert Burns.
Yes.
He's a fascinating character. They even reconstructed a model of him
Yes.
by studying his skull. There's only a couple pictures. This may be a romanization of,
I believe
of what
it is,
he
yes.
looked like. There's only a couple images that were ever made of him.
That's my understanding.
And
as well.
they got his skull, partial of his skull, and they reconstructed what his face would look like. It was this big unveiling, and he was kind of an ordinary looking guy, but he was very seductive with
Yes.
his, like you say, with his poetry.
And at the time, you know, he was not a bad-looking guy for the time either. You know, so.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Anything else we've left out, Tony?
I don't think we have. Like I said, we look forward to seeing you. We do have some tickets left, so please get online, get those tickets bought, and we'd love to have you guys there. Don't wait too long, though, because I think once they start to go, they're going to go out quick. We'll be sold out in a hurry.
Yeah,
So,
and no Scottish heritage necessary.
No.
Just wanting to have a good time.
yes, and like I said, it's a great event. I did my first burn supper 3 years ago at a private party and had a blast with it, and so they kind of turned it over to me the last 2 years to run the one here in McMinnville. So here we are.
All right. Now, I just want to remind viewers that Tony uses this magnificent body for more than just being on TV shows. He throws really heavy things really
do.
far.
We do.
And we'll talk more about that next time we get together about the...
Yes, sometime in May probably. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Tony, thanks for being here.
Thank you.